right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, fellas?
Good. Good to be here. Good to see Tim.
Welcome,
Good afternoon,
Tim.
fellas. I appreciate being asked to be involved again. And looks like the weather here in St. Louis is on the verge of breaking for the first time in about 6 weeks. And given our ages, last week was a kind of a rough one for Ozzy Osbourne passing away and Hulk Hogan. I wasn't necessarily a big wrestling fan, but the fact that two icons in both of their fields passed away within days of each other is it's kind of sad. And like them or hate either one of them, they were both personalities and impacted each of their individual endeavors. So
one was really well liked and had a very big funeral procession. The other one was kind of a racist, but I'm with you. Hulkamania was a huge thing. It was kind of obviously pushed that whole wrestling a lot further than studio wrestling where I started at my age. But let's not forget Malcolm Jamal Warner, also the Cosbys, without being a Cosby. Am I right?
Yeah. And it sounds like there was some fortunate events there. Apparently his daughter was in the same water with him. So
you're absolutely right.
It was a tragedy and a bad situation, but it sounds like, it could have been worse.
For sure. Yeah. Always sad. And those riptides are no joke. I mean, swim on the coast all the time, but I don't know. Learn to swim is part of it. The other is to educate yourself. They usually say you go with it. Water can be terrifying. So sorry to see it. And obviously, thank goodness his daughter was rescued. They jumped in with him pretty quickly too. There were people in the area, but basically you take on enough water, there's not much you can do.
Yeah. Well, I was on the plane the other day. I was reading something in the New Yorker, and I guess in New York they're experimenting with drones, working with lifeguards, where they can attach a couple of floatables to a drone. Right, they're about the size of like a little portable umbrella you carry. When they hit the water, they expand and it'll keep you floating until somebody can come out and get you. But the lifeguards can monitor that. And
wow.
Yeah, so they've been working on that. So that's kind of interesting.
Let's get Palantir involved in that one too, right?
Oh, God.
Soon they'll be tracking you anyway, so they'll know if you're in trouble. Maybe we save you, maybe we don't. How'd you vote?
Yeah.
How'd you vote in that last election anyway?
Oh, man.
Yeah, government overreach. Well, I mean, again, we've gone through this, the whole environment thing. We might as well just jump into that really quickly. Lee Zeldin. I mean, we had a handle on climate change, so we thought it was something that we could all agree on, that storms are getting a little bit more severe, the planet's heating up. It seems like all the information was there. But Lee Zeldin came out and they're revoking all the scientific findings that allows for our U.S. Climate regulations. So it was the central basis for the U.S. action to regulate greenhouse gas emission and to fight climate change. But if you don't believe in it, then here's 31 key environmental rules on topics from clean air to clean water to climate change that we're not that worried about anymore. It's the biggest it's the biggest adjustment to and deregulation in these areas that we've ever seen. I don't know how that's okay. I don't know how seeing all this flooding, and it's not just in our country. I mean, I saw Saudi Arabia's underwater today, good bits of it. The craziest part is I'm seeing people in Texas they're driving through this stuff. It's 1.5 foot of water. I'm no expert, but I would be a little bit afraid of getting stuck, stranded in my car as the water continues to rise, type of thing. I mean, I don't understand why we're trying to ignore the obvious, I guess.
I don't know. It's kind of insulting. I mean, they must think people are stupid. I mean, they want to deny inflation. They want to deny climate change. I mean, it's pretty evident when, you have the kind of storms that we've had this summer. We've seen the kind of, devastation and the flooding. It's pretty evident that even if you don't believe it, something's going on.
Yeah.
Even
if it's cyclical and it happened in the 1880s, we're in a better place to deal with that sort of stuff if we choose to.
Well, it seems like we want to crawl back to the 1880s when men were men and women were seen and not heard. And, we were all homesteaders lifting ourselves up by our bootstraps. I mean, it's just stupid.
What do you think about that, Tim? All the deregulation. I mean, you're kind of a business background. I mean, sure, it can be helpful for the bottom line, but how sustainable is that?
Well, to Bill's point, if we want to ignore it, not put science to it, no matter what's happening, whether you believe it or not, there's science involved. And if you want to ignore the science, then give up on everything. And guess what? If we don't have an environment, we've got nothing, and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Well, the environment is everything. It's where we live. It's not what we live, it's where we live. And if the environment crashes, if the environment goes away, guess what? So do we.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to worry about it, if you don't want to think about it, if you don't want to react to it based on science, then I got nothing. I mean, there's nothing to say. Then we're doomed.
You can't really convince those people. The problem is, I like those people that when they're not in government, then you can have your uneducated opinion and your lack of desire to do anything, but you're not controlling. Here, we're being controlled by people that aren't believing in that. And I'll jump over to the CDC shortly. But again, largest deregulation action in our history. And the bottom line is, in 2009, the declaration that determined that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases endangered public health and welfare. So that last part's really the key here. It's endangering public health and our welfare. That's where you're turning your back. Now, all of a sudden, money, it's the Dick Cheney syndrome, all that money you can't eat when you have no crops. All that money you can't, again, feed your family if there is no produce and product to be bought.
Mm-hmm.
It's really short-sighted. And again, it comes down to not really caring about our welfare as a nation, not just in Missouri or blue states, as they like to carry on about, but we're all in this pretty much together.
Pretty much, yeah. So I don't know, but at the same time, I mean, they're deporting and rounding up farm workers, people that actually pick the crops that show up in the grocery store. And I don't know, maybe people have no idea how that just happens, that that the magic fairies just show up and stock the grocery stores and the produce aisle every night, but there's people out there picking it. And and the heat wave that we just went through, they're out there every day. And I don't understand how people are can be so ignorant and just so blind to what happens, how things work, how things function, and how things actually get done.
Well, I agree with all of that. I think some of it just comes from ignorance and lack of not caring. Again, we're talking about motor vehicles, power plants, how much pollution they can put in the air that we breathe, cars. I mean, we were pretty close to getting 25 plus miles to the gallon as a standard. That goes away. Any of the regulations for motor vehicles as far as exhaust and what pollutants you can put out there, gone. And they seem to take great pride in that. That's the part that really bugs me, because they think it's such a great idea. I mean, I don't know. Is it all? Somebody's getting paid somewhere to make this sound like a good idea, because none of it sounds like a good idea to me.
No, it's a bad idea.
And to your point, Rob, I mean, no matter what you believe, how can you ignore data?
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest problem. And, we're relying on the powers that be to take data and do something with it. And if we're going to ignore that, again, I used the term earlier, we're doomed. And you got to pay attention to the data. That's what it's for. And if you don't want the data, don't generate the data.
Well, and that's what we're going to stop doing. The downside is other nations are doing it. We will be left behind. Canada and Mexico are looking to make their own trade deal to circumvent us. That doesn't help us. On that front, you talked about data. The government's no longer collecting actual inflation data. This started in May of 2025, right before the tariffs started getting collected, that we decided we're just going to start estimating. You can make an estimation as to anything you want to make it sound good, but inflation has been straight up since April. So again, you can not collect data, ignore the data, but it doesn't change what is, right? I mean, here we are.
Well, yeah, like we said, I mean, you can tell me that the inflation rate is down, but when my grocery bill tells me something different, I'm going to tend to believe that.
Well, I went today. I bought, I think I had 2 pieces of chicken. I looked, it was $15. My bill was, I don't want to say 2 times, but it was pretty close. I was pretty shocked today how much things cost. I mean, we saw it on all over Twitter. Folgers coffee was $12.99. Now it's $19.99. Trump's putting another 50% tariff on Brazil, which again is that puts us up to 90% tax on or tariff on Brazil. What do we get from Brazil that I love every morning, Tim?
Good coffee.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about that, but I do know what you like.
Yeah, coffee, beef, sugar, oranges, iron, soy. I could go on. Why are we poking these guys in Brazil? Because we feel like they did their dictator wrong, and Trump's taking that personally. It's insane.
It's literally insane. I mean, we say this all the time, but there is literally a demented, toxic narcissist at the wheel, and we're all trapped in this car. We're all just driving along at his whims.
It's
I mean,
true.
the shit that he makes up. So I don't know. I was kind of hoping when JD Vance went behind his back and went to go meet with Murdoch that maybe they were talking about, hey, you know what? It's time to pull the plug and move on to phase 2. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping this Epstein thing keeps going.
How can it not? And
yeah.
how can you let her out? How can Maxwell come out? Most of the victims,
You can't.
it's not like you have to go back 20 years of testimony. These people are still alive. These victims are still here. They're still telling their story, and they're all involved. I mean, there's no hiding it. She was a terrible person. She recruited from schools. She recruited down in Mar-a-Lago. She promised them education. She promised them the world. When asked why she would want all these people sleeping with her boyfriend, who never really had an interest in her, it was because she doesn't want to have to do it all the time. I mean, she's as implicit in all of this as anybody else. The Trump's trying to avoid it, that they want to make a deal with her and she's going to turn over a bunch of Democrats. Turn them all over. Any Democrat that's on that list, let's see. And they should be held accountable as well. I mean, this stuff is way too deep in our nation's history. It's gone on way too long. And it's extremely disturbing for anybody that has a daughter or a sister or a niece, fill in the blank, a neighbor next door that's a female. I mean, this is just, there's nothing right about any of this. The fact that he can't keep his story straight, the fact that now it's a Democratic hoax. I mean, that stuff's just made up garbage. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, his whole argument that, Biden, they collected these files. Well, if they were collecting them, why didn't they use them back then? And now it's just a hoax.
Yeah.
Fake. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, hard to believe that everything's a hoax. I will say toothpaste, toilet paper, dish soap, this is all Procter & Gamble. All their stuff's going up. Bissett was out today talking about Ford because they're talking about these tariffs. And he's essentially blaming Ford, like their F-150s and their 250s, that they use aluminum. Let me put this guy up because he's just such a face to punch. Percent. They use aluminum. So maybe that's part of it. They're not using full steel. The problem is with Ford is they make a lot of their trucks in this country. It's not like the platforms built in Mexico or the top covers are built in Canada. They are somebody who is producing a lot of their vehicles here for the most part, but you still have to have parts. And that's why we had to deal with the trade deal with Canada and Mexico. To say, oh, this is on them because they're using aluminum instead of steel. Ford's lost $1 billion. They expect to lose more. And it's not because of sales, it's because of tariffs. When they float the idea of giving us this ridiculous check back, it's somewhat offensive since we're all paying these tariffs. So what, you're going to give me some of the money that I'm overspending back to me? Doesn't sound like a lot of it. And for the record, a pound of ground meat now is higher than the federal minimum hourly wage.
It's insane.
Extremely disturbing. And if you remember during COVID, the corporations got $5 trillion. We got $1,200 if you were lucky. I don't remember getting anything. And we were reprimanded for causing that problem. So you can bail out Wall Street all day. They don't seem to care about Main Street, which is going to bring me to the next topic of Josh Hawley. And I hate to say that, but he brought it to the Senate committee about politicians being able to insider trade, basically. It was 8-7 that they got it out of committee. I know Trump and JD Vance were fighting it. Trump thinks it's his right to be able to grift all he wants. It's his right as a president. But it did pass today to go to the Senate for a vote. Why they should be able to make laws and then go profit off it through the companies. Palantir is a great example. They have so many government contracts. You can invest in it. Well, they invested in it first. For you to invest in it tomorrow, too late, my friend. How's that right on any level?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's, insider trading it's illegal. It's not right. It doesn't matter who does it. I mean, if I'm in a plane and I fly over and I see that there's a Ford factory on fire and I'm like, wow, as soon as I land, I decide I'm going to sell that stock. That's insider trading because it's information that's not out there yet. So you can't do that. And I don't care if you're a House, member of the House, or if you're a senator, or if you're the president or the vice president, it doesn't matter. It's illegal. And
it's been around for a long time. I don't think to this scale. I don't think anybody's done it to this scale until this face came on. But, the people that voted against it were Rand Paul. Rand Paul felt that people like Trump, if he were to run for a third term, would have to divest all his money. And we prefer people like that in office. So we don't want that. Not
he hasn't divested shit.
Rick Scott was another one that voted against it. Why would anybody want this job if you can't insider trade was his thing. You'll go poor. Their salary is about $174,000 or $147,000. I may have that backwards. It's a pretty good salary for somebody.
Plus a pension and gold-plated health insurance. Mm-hmm. And let's not forget Rick Scott with his Medicare scam.
He took the fifth, I want to say 32 times because he's a criminal himself.
Yeah,
Bernie Moreno in Ohio, Joni Ernst in Iowa. Thanks to her, we got Hegseth. Roger Marshall in Kansas, Ron Johnson, of course. They're all against it because I feel like it's going to make people poor. It's as if they're not even paying attention. Again, the biggest pushback came from JD Vance and Trump, which I found extremely offensive. This is going to go forward to a full Senate vote. It seems to make sense. They say, why? There's so much accountability. I think we're finding out that that's just more gaslighting, frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Insider trading has been illegal and an issue for a very long time, and many people have paid for doing it.
Yeah.
And sports, no, there's not an athlete that can. They're very strict, and they make big chest pounding statements to say no athlete can bet on sports, because guess what? If they know somebody's injured or whatever, or if they can do anything to affect the outcome, they're going to benefit from it. So the powers that be, again, beat their chest to say no athlete can bet on sports. Well, the insider trading for them, there is no difference. And why is that okay? But yet athletes can't bet on sports. I mean, we know it, but
Pete Rose got condemned for it, right? I mean, they kept him out of the hall until he was dead.
Great point.
We had people when we were in the league, and we talked about this with Gene. We had giant signs and no gambling, no association with gamblers. I would have people from my hometown call to ask, "Hey, is what's his name practicing?"
See,
you just can't give that kind of information out, and you knew better. But nowadays, everybody thinks the league's rigged anyway, and that's strictly through officials and less about players.
Yeah, that is true,
and I don't deny that.
So explain to me the difference, and I don't see one.
There's no difference. At
One
some
has
point, it's,
power over you, and the other, you pay their salaries, so to speak, by going to attend. Yeah, Congress is full of malarkey, as one guy once said.
yeah, I mean, they've really, they've just put themselves above all of us. I mean, they forget that they're public servants. They serve at the whim of the public. And, some of these cretins that keep being voted in, I can't even imagine who's voting for them.
Well, we're talking about the gerrymandering now. I mean, what the heck? You see what they're trying to do in Texas. Trump's like, I need 6 more seats. Let's get these black people out of here. Let's call it what it is. Well, California says, hold my beer. I'll give you 22 seats as we, gerrymander our districts. So if the Republicans want to push that way, it can go both ways. So they should be leery of it. It's really offensive to the people in those districts. And I will say that I saw in Texas, the majority of people that came out and complained and said they wanted no part of this were white people. So I think some of this is starting to sink in for a lot of people, whether you've lost your job, you've lost your health care, fill in the blank as to what we're suffering through at this point. The pushback should be pretty great is my hope.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and in the end, your vote needs to count because it's really the only thing that you have. It's the only thing that any of us have.
For now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to people, politicians, whoever, being afraid to get caught doing anything, cheating, whatever? When did we transition from, I don't give a shit what we do or what I do, I don't care if I get caught or not?
I'm pretty sure that goes back to grabbing him by the P word, because no accountability for that guy. He's been a criminal. He doesn't pay his debts. He literally has a criminal record, and he's in the White House. I think accountability stopped as soon as he got a free pass, and he only got a free pass from people because those people were a bunch of haters. So they don't care if it's somebody that's brown getting screwed. It doesn't matter. And we let that genie out of the box, and we can't seem to get it back in. I mean, you have Hegseth. How does Hegseth still have a job? Not only Signal, but then classified material also came through that app. Yeah. How is he still working? It's incredible.
It really is. It's unbelievable. It's just, I don't know. It's almost like there is, like you said, there's no accountability. There's no adult in the room. It's just Trump acting on each and every whim that goes through his, Ritalin-addled brain. That's
Kristi Noem was their Homeland Security is almost through their budget. It's July, almost August, in fairness, but almost through her budget. Where was she? She was horseback riding. I mean, let me just pop her up with her little, because she looks great on a horse. I'll give her that.
What's her costume today?
Well, there she is riding. She was in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So we're going to go down. We're going to ride some horses. It's going to be amazing. Here she is again. I mean, she's never happier than when she's got a belt buckle on and a hat. But we're paying for it. You want to take those trips on your time? I'm all about it. Do what you want. But why am I paying for it?
Yeah, and then seriously.
She wants to gut FEMA. We don't need that kind of help. Today, 3 counties in Kentucky, Trump was like, sorry, you're not getting any funding. Those places are still a mess. It's really indifference, and it's falling to some of the red hats too. The last thing I'll say on economic data is that in the past 6 months, durable manufactured goods have had the largest price increase during any 6-month period in the past 38 years. I don't know if that's tariffs, but I'm wondering.
Yeah. Seems quite the coincidence, I would say. But you know what? Once those tariff checks start flowing, don't you worry. We'll all be laughing.
Well, and then we have to do some cuts. So now we have a new CDC director. She is, I'm sure, a mighty fine lady, but she is not a physician. Center for Disease Control. I kind of would like to have somebody who's got that kind of background. She's the first person without a medical degree in the last 70 years. That vote went down party lines, 51-47. She's a microbiologist. Props to her. That's amazing. Fantastic. But you're now in charge of everything that's coming down the pike with the Center for Disease Control. That budget was almost what was it? Almost $8 billion. Now we cut it to $4 billion. You've laid off 2,400 people, and now she's got to deal with. Well, the measles hasn't gone away. We're certainly not going to talk about COVID because nobody seems to care. But let's be honest, that has not gone anywhere except up, and we're just not in that season. And then the latest thing that I heard, which was pretty amazing, and I'll put this chart up, not this guy's face. Here's the CDC lady, Susan Menarez, just to give her props. I'm sure she's a fine lady. I would like somebody with a medical background, preferably. But just to get back to my point, was this is back, and maybe you probably remember this, Tim, and I remember it from being fairly young.
Oh my!
Legionnaires' disease. Whoa, where'd that come from? It's like a severe pneumonia. We have 1 dead, 20 have been sickened. This is in New York City. It's in the Harlem area. Generally, 1 in 10 will die. They get it. Seems pretty severe to me. It's from breathing in mist containing Legionella, which usually when you're unearthing stuff, it'll be particles. It's not shared person to person, but it's usually from freshwater streams and lakes that have been contaminated. I mean, I can't believe what's coming back. I mean, this is just insane. Now, we don't really believe in vaccines. So just as a case in point, before antibiotics came about, 50% of people who got pneumonia died. So underestimate medicine all you want. I don't like those odds.
Yeah, well, don't worry. We're going to go back to leeches soon. So leeches and blood.
That woman who's she was a 23-year-old girl, and her mom was a flaming red hat, and she would not let her get chemo even though she had cancer. So she was doing 5 coffee enemas a day, and she died. Not a very happy ending, but what did you think was going to happen? Chemo's not fun, but if it's your only chance to live, I think I would do that over coffee enemas, which I haven't really heard any research on. Tim?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a thing.
No, and we've talked about, healthcare a lot personally offline.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have addressed it on previous podcasts, but
sure.
Again, if you're not willing and wanting to do whatever it takes to take care of your people, again, where are we going? And everybody has a right. If I feel like taking a coffee enema is going to cure me of whatever I've got, it's my right to say, okay, I'm going to go do it. But, to not give people the resources that they need to take care of themselves is just horrible, and it's inexcusable. And the fact that people are going to continue to die because they can't afford, those two things should never be in parallel. Never.
Well, healthcare should be a right. I mean, it shouldn't be tied to your job. We're the only industrialized nation without it, other than South Africa. We should be with the rest of the world. It should be a right as a citizen of this country that you should have healthcare. It's crazy that it's even debated.
Yeah, and we just have the world's worst case of Stockholm syndrome, where we've been brainwashed into believing that we don't deserve it. I mean, and this goes back to Harry Truman in 1945, when they tried to, put together a plan for basically Medicare for all, which was free healthcare for everybody. Now, you saw the AMA push back. They pushed back hard. A lot of people didn't want Black people to have it. Well, once they die off, maybe we'll do something. But the AMA came out against it. They launched a huge publicity campaign, right, in publications like Reader's Digest, calling it socialized medicine, comparing it to communism, and it worked. It worked. People were brainwashed. And again, you're just going against your own best interest. But
well, that doctor was smoking cigarettes in his office, and he liked parliaments. I mean,
yeah. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend parliaments. But again, the AMA was, a very powerful lobby, and a lot of very powerful people and very wealthy people are on board with that. And, here we are 80 years later. This is what we're stuck with, where we don't believe that we deserve this. And it's ridiculous, because you would think that that's something that we can all agree on, whether you have a job, whether you don't. And even people with good jobs, Tim, you can relate to this. Your healthcare costs are still high. They take a pretty nice chunk out of your check, and you're still paying co-pays. So it's ridiculous. It's just one way of keeping people down.
And
Go ahead.
that's just the wrong way to do it. And again, if you can't take care of the people, and I'm talking just as a leader, I mean, you can't make this a personal thing. As a leader, you can't make it a personal thing. You have to look at it as, it's my job as a leader to make sure that my people that I'm in charge of are taken care of. And if we can't do that, which we're not, it's just mind-boggling, the fact that people are having issues with healthcare of all things. I mean, pick anything else, and I'm okay with $7 hamburger, but if I can't get treated for something, or if somebody that I know gets treated for something, it's just inexcusable.
It is. Again, it's a basic human right.
That I like that.
Nobody should go bankrupt because they got sick.
Agreed. And it affects families. It's not just one person.
That's right.
It takes a village in these instances to help take care of the sick person, to make sure that sick person has access to this, that, or the other. It's a time and money thing. And sure, you're going to do anything you can for your loved one, but why make it so difficult? And again, the people in that field that and I know you've dealt with it recently, Tim, as have we. I can't say enough about the people that go in every day and deal with these people that are dealing with such tragic events in their life. I'm going through chemotherapy. I'm going through radiation. The support there, to see a smiley face, to see somebody who's upbeat, even though you are either not feeling great or maybe you're depressed by it. They show up every day. And those are the people that we are discounting. Sure, they have healthcare. They work in the healthcare field. Is it very good healthcare? No. Are they getting paid appropriately for what they're doing? No. And then it builds from that. Now you start losing people in that field. Now you have, and this, it was also current, but, a nurse doing something that 2 or 3 nurses would normally be doing. And then you see the patients are complaining about the nurse. It's not the nurse's fault that the hospitals aren't hiring more help. It's not on them. They do their best, but it falls, everything rolls downhill. So the nurses are the devil, not the hospital administrator that doesn't want to hire people. And I will say on that line, NIH funding for research, diabetes, cancer, fill in the blank, $15 billion, we're not doing it anymore. Research, no more, not that interested. I mean, it's crazy. But it goes in with our whole workforce. I mean, we had layoffs this past year. We're up 75% from last year in layoffs. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we haven't seen this since 2020. And was there anything going on during 2020 that people might not have been going to work?
Oh, yeah. Let me think. That was all fake.
I mean, it's crazy. And then when we cut that kind of funding, there's no rationale behind it. This was a 4-sentence email that was sent out saying this funding's going away, $15 billion. Not, hey, we're going to move it into this, or we are going in a different direction. No reason, no rhyme, no nothing. And I find that to be extremely offensive.
Well, it is extremely offensive. But like Tim said, leaders are supposed to look out for their people, but we have no leadership. The only people that this leadership is looking out for are themselves and their friends. I mean, from Trump on down, you can go through Trump, you can go through Vance, you can go through the lunatics in the House. I mean, that place is it's just like an insane asylum, some of these people. But, you go right through it. You go through the Senate, who, has no problem with insider trading, because how am I going to make a living? They just don't care. There are no adults in the room anymore. And again, like we always say, these are not serious people. You got rid of a lot of the serious people, the people that devoted their lives to government service, that showed up, the people who you don't know their name, you probably don't know what they do, but these were the people. They were non-political, but they made government work. They made things function. And you went through and you sent Big Balls and his cronies out to not only take away these people's livelihoods, but to hollow out our government, how things get done. Try calling Social Security to see where your check is.
I heard a horror story about that today. 3 days of calling, finally went down to the field office. All the seats were filled an hour before the office opened. Come back another day.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a rhyme or reason to that.
Yeah, there's a rhyme or reason. And I can't see the reason. I can see the rhyme because, this is what these people want. Again, it was clearly outlined in 2025. These are people that have hated government, and they've hated having any kind of a social service safety net since, the Great Depression. And then when FDR came in and went with the New Deal, they've hated that. They've been working on this, and Trump was the perfect front man for them.
But why? Do you like your fire department? Do you like your police department?
I wish I could tell you why. I really do. It's just that these are greedy, disgusting people who don't think that anybody except themselves deserves to have anything. They look down on everybody. The Heritage Foundation, these people, they're terrible people. The Federalist Society, they've stacked the court. And here's something really interesting that I hadn't realized, but FDR did stack the court when they said, there's no way we're going to let your New Deal through. He's like, fine, I'm going to stack the court. And he did it. It's been done before. Why Biden wouldn't do it, I don't know. It's, the failure on the part of the Democratic leadership too is just, it's astounding. And hopefully we're going to see them start to punch back a little bit. But, this is not leadership that gives a shit about you, me, Tim, or anybody.
For sure.
And you used the term accountability before, Rob, and I think that's the absolute right word, because we can't be naive to say these problems that we're having, the issues that we're having, have never been here before. We've always, as a country, as a people, have had issues. And guess what? It was all about overcoming the issues. It was all about coming up with solutions to problems. It was all about trying to help and one for all for one, and let's work together to solve this or that. Now, to your point and to your word, there's no accountability to anything. It's to Bill's point. It's like every man for himself. And if you're suffering, you stay over there. We're making it. You stay over there, and you guys in between, figure it out. And if you go to the others, but there's no accountability to help fix anything. There's no, I hear you. I'm working on it. We'll fix it. Give me some time. There's none of that.
Listen,
None.
2 examples. One in Missouri, we put it on the ballot initiative. We wanted it. It passed almost 60%. And then the people that we elected said, hey, I know better. We're not doing it. You elected me. I'm in this seat. I say that because it transfers into this. When did it become okay that we strictly vote party lines? If something made sense, and I'm not a Mitt Romney fan by any sort, but if something made sense, you could cross the aisle, you could do it. Just a no-brainer. Why can you not get people to cross the aisle for something that makes sense, that affects all of us? Clean water, clean air, the environment. And it's fairly new. This is something that's fairly new, where you couldn't get anybody to vote across. Now Markowski and Collins are well-known people now because they're always the ones that are willing. They never do, but they say they would be willing. Occasionally they'll make that vote as long as the GOP still gets the votes enough to pass this lousy legislation. But when did we lose that common sense to be like, hey, you know what? That makes sense. Hey, insider trading, the pages leave that are here in Congress with us. They go out to the phone booth. Back in the day, they pick up their cell phone when they leave the Congress. They make a call. Now we're just stealing money. When did that become okay? This should be a no-brainer. It shouldn't have been 8-7. And the fact that Josh Hawley's leading this charge blows my mind. Trump got very upset with him, called him Democrat light. But they had a good meeting this morning, and they're on the same page. But Trump is only pissed because he's the one that's making all this cash off this. He's the one that's opening up, that went to Scotland on our dime, took his whole stupid family with him, those two eggheads. If you noticed on any of the video, nobody could stand next to Trump for more than a couple minutes because of this, except his kids, because they're just making money off Bitcoin, off golf courses, fill in the blank, man. And it's just grifting all of us. And it's not something that the American public used to put up with.
Yeah.
I don't understand when this ever became acceptable. Or if I was a red hat and it made sense for my family, why I wouldn't ask my representative to vote common sense instead of, oh, well, I don't want the brown person to get it, or, these undocumented are the worst. I mean, come on, man, set that aside. Look at policy for what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be for our country as a whole, not about white people, black people, yellow people, orange people. That's what government's supposed to be about. That's at least what I was raised to believe, that this was how we run our government. But that all seems like a bunch of made up fairy tale.
You sound like a socialist, Marxist.
No, democratic socialist. Actually, I feel independent, as we've all spoken about this. Be really hard for a Republican to get my vote, don't get me wrong. But we need some change. And if that's a progressive AOC, if that's, electing a mayor who's a democratic socialist in New York City, whatever. But people need to wake up to the fact that, hey, as Gene always said, give these people something, right? Give them something. Either side of the aisle.
That's an extremely good point, and very well said, Rob, because again, no matter what side that a person is on, they're still considered our leadership. And as far as that goes, they're all dropping the ball and nobody seems to care about nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the frustration. And to the point of the podcast, for many months, we're caught in the middle. And what do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting to hear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, just some statistics, and I'm just going to put this out there because we're talking about this, but 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs since February, mostly federal jobs. And then I read the comments and they're like, oh, because of DEI. No, white women profited the most from DEI. You took that away from them. I'm sure they'll find other work. But the point is, 65% of those Black women had a university degree that worked for the government. So like, oh, they don't do anything anyway. Oh, they're not educated. Yes, they are. 65% of them had degrees. Why are you just talking as if one Black person means all Black people? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And again, and these weren't glamorous jobs. These weren't they were good paying jobs, don't get me wrong, but these weren't like, 6-figure jobs where you're making tons of cash and it's a good life. These are people just doing the daily work of government. And it was a lot of times, I'm sure it was mind numbing. I'm sure a lot of times it was frustrating for the people doing it, but they did it. I mean, it was a public service. These were people that made things work. This is, the backbone of government. And again, it didn't matter if it was a Republican administration, a Democratic administration, didn't matter. These were apolitical people. They did not have their thumb on the scale. Their only interest was in serving the American people. And to just push them aside like that, and then to say shit like that, oh, they weren't educated, they were DEI hires. That's ridiculous. It's obscene. And again, scrolling through Twitter, I like to read that down through the comments sometime and see what people say, but I can only get so far. And then I'm like, you know what? I am not going to get dragged down into this because people are idiots. There are so many trolls out there, just so many unintelligent and just willfully ignorant, hateful people out there that just want to sit behind their phone or sit in front of a keyboard, and just fire off shit that they know nothing about, smearing people. And it's ridiculous to even engage and waste your time with these people. But it's also terrifying that there are that many of them out there.
Well, we're definitely surrounded by a lot. And again, it starts with where you're getting your sources and how much you're checking your sources. The Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, and I got to get his picture up because he's kind of an ass. But just as an example, with Burgum, here he is here. I think he was the South Dakota governor, maybe North Dakota, one or the other. but he's a real youngster. He's got a ton of cash, and he's always by Trump's side for the most part. But just as an example, he comes out today and says there's 0 applications for wind and solar projects. Well, we all know that Trump hates solar and wind. We also know that China's picking up everything we're leaving behind, to the point where they're putting solar panels out on the sea, so it's not taking away from land for growing more agriculture. But what they don't tell you, so you say, hey, nobody's interested in wind and solar, these projects, 0 applications. And when you hear that from your Interior Secretary, you're like, oh, that's pretty impressive. But the fact that they don't tell you is that on July 17th, they had an executive order requiring 69 separate approvals for wind and solar. Now, you tell me what business, Tim, wants to take the time to get 69 different approvals to do a project when they could just do something else. And that something else could be fossil fuels, as they got 12+ billion in new subsidies. Who's going to go through those steps to make that happen, even though it's for the betterment of all of us? Who's going to do it? Who's got that kind of time and money?
That's just it. There's no time, there's no money, and there's enough red tape on everything else, much less red tape for, something like that. And again, what difference does it make? Why does everybody have to have an opinion? If somebody wants to work on solar or wind or whatever else, let them work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let them try to develop. What difference does it make? Okay, what's a stupid idea? Well, how many things do we use every day were considered stupid ideas?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So stop with the, I want to work on more solar. I want to work on more. Okay, go ahead, get back to us and let us know. Well, instead of saying, oh, that's just stupid, ridiculous.
And I had friends whose kids during the summer went to various states selling these solar products.
Mm-hmm.
They were jobs. They're supposed to be new energy jobs. We're putting these kids to work. It wasn't like selling knives where you had to make that sale to get any payment. They were literally being paid to go out and try and push the solar panels. There's a ton of different forms. It could be for homeowners. It could be for businesses. But again, it was younger people for summer vacation. Not all of us, or a summer break. Not all of us can be lifeguards. And they were doing something that was going to be positive for the environment, for their future. And then boom, tuck that away. Now everybody's going to drive the ice cream truck in the summer. Come on. Hated that job.
Yeah, that job was not fun.
And
I'm just saying, it's twofold, where you're not only gaslighting people that nobody wants these projects, but now you're taking away any advancement for people that had an interest. To your point, Tim, you want to play with solar? Play with solar. I saw that kid, I saw that kid that took plastic and waste and was able to turn into fuel.
There you go.
He was so terrified, he went into hiding because he's in a tough spot there.
Ingenuity and progress and everything else. And again, Billy could probably help us come up with many examples, because you got the mind of a steel trap up there in terms of data and the way things happen. But how many things are we using every day where somebody at some point in time said, hey, Jason, that'll never work, and here we use it every day?
Pockets.
Yeah. I mean, look at the right pockets. Look at the Wright brothers. How many people do you think said that thing's not going to get off the ground?
I knew you'd come up with something, Bill.
Well, even here in St. Louis, right? Back around the turn of the century, when they the railroads wanted to put their hub here. They wanted to make St. Louis, the gateway to the West, the biggest railroad hub. And the St. Louis leadership said, you know what, we're going to stick with the steamboat. That's the good old steamboat. These railroads, they're never going to be a thing.
And now look at Chicago.
Fine,
great
we'll
example.
go to Chicago.
I knew. See, thanks for making me right, Bill. I knew you'd come up with a good example.
You're always right, Tim.
Shit.
It is pretty. I mean, anybody that has those kind of thoughts that can be, earth changing, however you want to express it, is going to have doubters, and it's going to be a little bit out there. But that's what makes people special, that are able to invent the light bulb or invent, fill in the blank.
Exactly.
To discount that and say, hey, status quo, we're not interested, this is good enough, is how you end up, buried in a civilization that people dig up later and are like, what did these guys do?
Exactly. And I mean, and you look at the young people, the people that have grown up with the internet, they're all about innovation. Why do we do it this way? Why are we doing it that this isn't right? Why do we have to do it this way? Because that's why we've always done it.
Yep.
But these are people that aren't just going to sit down and shut up and wait their turn. They're out there, they're innovating. They've got ideas. They want to make change, and and they're to the point where their futures depend on it now. I mean, we're dinosaurs, essentially. We're not going to be around that much longer, but these are the people that are going to have to deal with this world, and to try and stifle their innovation and creativity is just ridiculous. It's just self-defeating and stupid, because this is the way we've always done it, or because the way we do it now makes me a lot of money and I don't want to be bothered by that. That's just nasty business, you people.
Those are the people lucky enough to still be working after the age of 50. They would like you to work till 70 to get your Social Security. But if you are out of a job at 49, good luck finding a job for somebody over 50. So work till 70 if you can maintain that job. But if you haven't been able to and you're 50 plus, nobody's hiring you.
Yeah, well, they want your years of seniority and experience, but they want to pay you entry-level wages, or they want
your
to just hire
healthcare is too expensive anyway. You're old.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous. And, hopefully, the younger generations will not be discouraged by this. They will keep innovating, keep inventing, and keep looking at possibilities and thinking, and it's just insane. And that's where the Democratic leadership is just has let us down, because if you see the younger people like AOC, those are the people that understand the way the world is going now. They understand the wants and needs of regular people, and they're open to new ideas. They're open to change. I mean, Chuck Schumer is sitting there with his glasses falling off his face, reading "We will win." Doesn't inspire anybody. Nobody cares about that. What are you doing, Chuck? Sit down and shut up. Your time has passed.
Absolutely. There are some new flyers out hiring for ICE, Homeland Security, 50,000 sign-on bonus, which seems pretty incredible. Enhanced retirement benefits. And the kicker is that they'll give you a student loan repayment up to $60,000. Now, we wouldn't do that with people that are maybe going into education or business. But if you're going to go into ICE and you're going to round people up, boom, we're going to forgive your any kind of student loans. But I think the kicker is that most of the people that are gravitating to that job don't have a degree, so there's really nothing to pay for that. So,
well, but I mean, you're still seeing this is going to bring out the worst people, because
we've already seen it.
Yeah, you've seen the people that are doing this job now, and then to offer somebody a $50,000, essentially a year's salary signing bonus, plus good money, plus good overtime, and I get to wear a mask and I get to torture and abuse people. Where do I sign up? You're essentially enabling a new generation of fascists.
And it starts at the top. FEMA's distribution of they're distributing $608 million to states to build these detention facilities. If you see the new one in Texas, it's basically tents. And we're just putting people in there. These conditions are horrific, but you'd rather be there than sent to a third world country or a third party country that you're not from, where, you could be in a civil war. You don't even really know what's going on there. And you have that.
Yeah, it's insane, man. I mean, you're seeing these camps where they're concentrating people and they're just springing up everywhere. And, the right people that are connected are making money off this, of course. And you're locking up innocent people. These are people that, in most cases, haven't done anything.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. And it's kind of random. I'm going to save it for my happy ending that I do have one that's coming with ICE. I just wanted to jump back real quick to the economy. 40% of retirees rely on Social Security. Social Security benefits on average are about $20,000 to $24,000 a year. I would not say that that's exorbitant. I don't think these people are living lavishly. But to say that we now want to take that away, these child savings accounts that we have talked about in the past, where Trump's going to give each white baby $1,000 in his bank account. I may have put in that white part, but it would seem to fit the profile. They're going to run it like a Roth IRA, where you can put in up to $5,000 in that baby's account every year. But the bottom line is that's their way of privatizing Social Security. Since we were 18, 19 and started working, they said Social Security wouldn't be here. It's still here. I'm ancient. It's still here. They say it's going to run out in 2034. They've been saying that for 50 years. These guys are going to take the boldest step to try and privatize it. So as they're giving these new babies these accounts, at the end of the day, they're going to say, your retirement's on you. You invested poorly. I'm sorry. Now you're homeless. I'm sorry. We'll build some new camps for that too, because anybody that's not mentally stable or is homeless, it's almost like Barman, and we're going to find a place for you too, off the streets. And that's terrifying.
It's horrifying. And again, I mean, so much of this stuff, if you look back in history to Germany in the 1930s, it's the same shit they pulled. Same stuff that they did.
It's pretty crazy how spot on that is. It was announced today, though, and this is not my happy ending, but a massive $200 million gold-plated ballroom is going to be built at the White House. I don't know if you saw the Rose Garden, but when the weather was really hot, that brick, they have, looks like concrete. They're like pavers to make it look like Mar-a-Lago, but they're saying it's hot as can be. Rose Garden gone. Maybe the Kennedy Center gets renamed after Melania, the Einstein Award winner to get into this country, even though she knew she knew Epstein before she knew Trump. I think she might have been working, not exactly sure, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We're spending this $200 million on this gold-plated ballroom because we can't find gold paint, and we're kicking 17 million people off their health care.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? What is wrong with this picture? It's obscene. It really is. And, at some point, people do wise up. You can push people into a corner long enough, but eventually people wise up and they get mad. And, there's already a lot of anger in the air. You can sense that. And there's a lot of angry people with guns.
I've never seen so much fighting on the internet. Every video that pops up for me is like people going after each other. I'm sure you saw the one in Cincinnati. They beat that woman up. Most of it, they try and project that in the Black community. But I just see so much anger. It's heating up, shall we say, and it's not getting better. And these guys aren't going to be able to cool this type of thing off. So I don't know where this is going to take us, but it's super concerning. And I feel like people need to kind of be aware that, as we say about the frog in the hot water, that it's getting hotter, man. I feel it. My grocery bill this morning, and again, I missed last week. We were out of town. So I did have to get some backup stuff, but I was shocked how much my food bill was today. And my air conditioning is running all the time, so I can't wait to see what that comes out this month.
That's going to be absolutely crazy. And I was talking to somebody about electric bills today. That's going to be absolutely crazy. And again, it is what it is, and deal with it.
I lived through this in California in 2000 with Enron, and I've told this story before. My mom wanted me to put the air conditioning on. I would not do it because I had no money. It was hugely expensive. Ken Lay, those guys grifted everybody basically on those energy costs. I want to say my bill still ended up being a couple $100 for not running air conditioning. Now you can imagine what it would have been if I had run it. I mean, these were like between $600 and $900 bills.
Well, that's that big screen TV you had.
I'm sorry?
It's that big screen TV you had back then.
Did I have a van?
No, that wasn't a thing back then.
Oh, it was a boom box.
Yeah, buddy. Right on the shoulder.
The big boom box that took 25D batteries.
That's right. And lasted maybe an afternoon. Good.
Exactly.
But it sounded good while it lasted.
That's right. One other thing that did go through, the IRS did shut down Direct File. I did notice that the tax services stocks have been slowly going up. Again, to the insider trading. This was one of Trump's things. They knew that. TurboTax keeps rising on the stock market, whereas you can no longer file your taxes for free. Why would that never? Why is that not an option? I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, I can't do it. I'm not that skilled, but many people can.
Again,
Yeah,
man, it's just the grift is deep.
Yeah.
it's pretty horrific. The last thing today with Levitt is her and Navarro really want Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize. He stopped 6 wars, like one a month. He gave that aid to those kids in Gaza. Nobody even said thanks. I think it was 60 million. That was actually 30. I don't know that they saw it, but he's
I
sending
don't think they saw it.
Huckabees going over there. And then we as taxpayers are going to pay for Governor Sarah Huckabee to go over to help her dad to kind of fix things in Gaza because, you know, they're very good Christians and they think they could really help these Gaza people.
It's ludicrous.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it's
I
a
mean,
lot.
I just feel my wallet getting emptier and emptier, and it's kind of offensive. And I'll eat that shit sandwich for a while for the good of everybody, but it's not good for anybody. So I don't know why we're even debating getting rid of these people because it's too much. I can't make it to midterms. Is all I'm saying. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, this is bad. It it's very bad, very
And you
bad.
talk about Epstein. That's not going anywhere. Maxwell wants, everything put on the table. She's also, she victimized a lot of people. I know she comes from cash. This isn't going away. And I think everybody involved should be exposed because.
Well, were state files charged? Are state charges filed on her too that she can't be pardoned from?
Well, she's angling for the full presidential pardon. That's a good question. But let's not forget, is she in Florida? Where is she? Or she's in New York because she
I
was
think it's New
prosecuted
York.
by Comey's daughter who was fired for some reason. Yeah. All right. I don't want to get too deep in that rabbit hole. I'm going to jump to happy ending. I'm going to throw mine up first because I did see video today in Kansas City, Missouri. A couple of guys. One guy had a badge. Both of them had their little ice vests. But the fact of the matter is they came into a Mexican restaurant looking to pick some people up. The ownership said, I'm filming you. Why are you here? They're like, oh, you care more about orders than people that are coming across the border and stealing from our country type of thing. They stood their ground. They got his badge number. The other guy just looked like some schlub. He had zip ties in the back. He was wearing like red sunglasses. He looked like a fool. But as people pushed back, eventually they were like, hey, whatever. If that's how you want it, then, we're out of here. And they chased him back out to the parking lot. And those people went away because they said they had a warrant. When you ask to see it and they don't have it, they leave. They're like little rodents. But you got to stand up to them. They threatened to arrest these people. What are you going to arrest them for? For filming on a public street? It's not a thing. So these guys are all cosplaying. They aren't really legally able to do what they're saying they're doing. But if you go with them or they are able to take you because nobody's helping you to avoid that, then you got a problem. But it seems like people are standing up more and more and pushing back and at least putting these people on the record, which is how it has to start.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my happy ending. They told those guys to go pound salt and they left. And they kind of looked like they were a bunch of wankers anyway.
Probably so. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to even identify who's real and who's not.
You're right. And I think they're all kind of out of it. So that would be my happy ending. Anybody else got anything pleasant?
Well, it's good to see Tim.
It was good to see you. I have a somewhat of a complicated happy ending. It's not necessarily going to make me happy. It will make me happy, but I think it's something that we could do as a society to make everyone happy. And without getting in too much detail, I'll make it as simple as possible. If you're out driving, no matter where you go, where you're coming from, or if you're just out for a quote unquote Sunday drive, if the speed limit says 35, try to drive as close to 35 as you can, not 25, not 20. Try to at least go the speed limit. And I think, to Rob's point, everybody's getting a little bit agitated and things are getting hot. Everybody's on edge. If you have to drive, try driving the speed limit. That might help people, and that might take a little bit of road rage away, because again, if the speed limit says 45 and you're driving 25, it's a huge problem, and it causes.
All right, I'm going to jump in on this, Tim, before you finish your happy ending. The left lane is called the passing lane. Where you could be lost, but if you were in the left lane and you weren't passing, you could get a ticket. Stay out of the left lane. That's for passing. If somebody's coming up behind you, get in the right lane. Let them pass. If you want to pass somebody else, go back to the left lane. But this is ridiculous. Come on.
And I'm not trying to open up a can. I'm not trying to open up a can of worms on a happy ending. My point to the happy ending was, I think drivers in particular would be a lot happier if people would just drive the speed limit.
Or maybe a little
Over whatever, but drive the speed. And if you're too scared to drive the speed limit, or too scared to drive when it's raining, snowing, windy, or whatever, don't drive.
Yeah, stay at home.
Stay in the right lane.
So anyway, it's kind of a convoluted happy ending, but it's getting pretty tiresome and aggravating to drive, because I don't know what's happening.
And a little bit dangerous too. I mean, I had a guy come up behind me on the highway today. When I see you, I'm going to get out of that fast lane. But if I'm going 75 and you're going 95, I need a minute to realize you're coming up on me that quickly to get over. What I don't want to have the mistake is I get over when you think I'm not going to, and then we have an accident type of thing. Mm-hmm. But the driving is getting a little bit crazy. I can't get mad at somebody in the right lane who's going slow, because clearly they're afraid of wind, rain, or snow, as you said. But stay out of the left lane, please, for the love of God.
Well, I'm glad you had something to add to my my happy ending. So I appreciate it, and like I said, I'm sure we could talk for a complete hour on driving habits.
For sure, that is another. Yeah. Billy, anything?
And here's something. You see how easy this is? If somebody lets you merge, just give a wave. It's a small gesture, but it means a lot.
And the merging is called a zipper. You just don't pull up so the guy can't get in front of you. Everybody gets in. It's a zipper. You get in, I get in, you get in, I get in.
You let him in, somebody lets you in, you give a little wave. That's all it takes.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
If we don't have common courtesy with just normal things, why should we expect to have common courtesy when we're behind a vehicle and driving down our roads and everything else? But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, because again, it seems like it's a continuing growing problem, and driving's difficult enough as it is without, people just making things worse for no reason.
On my phone, I don't know. Hang it up, Tim. That's all I'm saying. Okay, focus.
I need to do a better job at that. There's no doubt. Not focusing, but staying off the what.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Tim, it was great having you today.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again. I appreciate the dog chiming in as well, because we have plenty of that at my house.
Well, again, I appreciate the invite, guys. I've listened and been a fan for a very long time. I would encourage as many people that can to listen. It's a great listen. And again, whether we agree or not, it's a great listen. It's a great perspective. And I've always liked it. And I think others should give it a try too.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, we're just here to kind of inform, educate, and you do with that what you want to. Not guaranteeing any entertainment, as we said, but I think it's pertinent information. You should know when you're being gaslit. You should know if you're not finding the right sources, dig a little bit deeper, research your sources, and make sure that you're just not being lied to, because that's the biggest problem we have right now. A lot of fake news.
Mm-hmm. And if I could just make one more comment, Billy, I've always liked the headphones, man.
Oh, thanks.
Mine don't work. I'd be all about it, but
no, I just love them. It's old school, man. I love it.
I look like I know what I'm doing, and I'm not even plugged in. I just like to wear them around.
You need to get one of those old school cucumber microphones put in front of you. There you go. Nice.
Amen. We'll talk about that later, Tim.
Maybe just a boom mic that hangs down.
There you go.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate your time today. I know we went over the hour, but always good talking to both of you, and hopefully we can do this again.
Again, appreciate the invite, guys, and thank you very much.
You got it, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.
See ya.